Hey backers, Rylan here. We've got some great new prints to show you, and I'm excited to get started, so let's check them out. So here I have a Rook, a chess piece, and I didn't actually calibrate my printer properly when I printed this print, and so it's a little bit warped. If you look at it from the top, you can see that it's oval shaped instead of round, and that's the kind of thing that you can expect if you don't do a really diligent job of calibrating your printer. The printer still works, but things come out a little bit warped. And I'm quite impressed with this Rook. It's very detailed, and it's starting to look like an object that I would actually play chess with and really enjoy a chess set that was done at this kind of detail. So one of the things that I did differently with this Rook is I tilted it like this. And that's not actually because the printer has any trouble doing overhangs. It's actually quite good at doing a really large straight overhang. But actually the slicer that we're using doesn't slice an overhang this thin. So in tilting this, it's basically printed the first time. There are some flaws, but there are also a lot of really intricate details. Like we have a spiral staircase in the middle, and windows and doors. And this is just a very intricate piece. The one thing that didn't print, and again, I think this is probably because of the way it was sliced, not because of the ability of the Peachy printer, is this helical shape in the very middle. So I'm happy to say that the printer's finally done a good enough job of this little guy that he needs no introduction. You can clearly see that this is Yoda, and it's just it's quite amazing that some of the very fine details are coming out. Like I can see wrinkles and just very small intricacies in his face. So I'm very impressed with this print. Even though it has a lot of flaws still, we still have random holes popping up that we're not sure what the cause of those are. The impressive part is just the quality of where it does go really well, and also just how thin he is. We're still doing this at 0.5 millimeter wall thickness, so he's kind of flexible because we haven't done any infill or made him solid in any way. He's still pretty flexible. This print is 6 centimeters tall and has 2,500 layers. And that means that it's actually getting hard to see the artifacts that are caused by the layering of the print with your eye. It's actually very hard to see them. And so I'm glad that we've started photographing these prints backlit so that we can bring out every artifact we can and every detail that we can, so you can really get a sense for what it's like to look at them in person. Throughout the course of this project, we've been printing with transparent resin, and that's pretty important to us because it lets us see the printer in action. We can look through the resin and see that a print is going well or poorly while it's happening. We can decide to restart a print if we see something fail. That's something that we couldn't do with an opaque resin. But an opaque resin would show up a lot better in photos. So it's been a struggle for us to really show and depict the detail in our prints because they are clear and it's just rather hard to photograph. But backlighting the print is one thing that really brings out the contrast and brings out all the details that you can see in person in a photograph. These prints are showing us that the Peachy printer has a lot to offer. There's a lot of promise here. Just like the column prints showed us many months ago, we're starting to see that kind of clarity in prints that are actually made from G-code. But there's still some problems, and we really don't know what's causing them. We have random holes showing up in our prints, and it's very hard to predict how long it will take to solve these problems when we don't really know what the cause is at all. So we're building all kinds of tools like time-lapsing prints and laser light drawing machines so that we can try to find out what's actually causing these problems, but it's very hard to predict right now just how long it will take to really perfect the printer. Either way, I'm sure that we will figure it out. Something is causing it, and it's something that we'll be able to detect. So I'm really looking forward to detecting that, not only because it will give us great prints, but because it will give us great watertight prints, which means that you can get away with printing a shell, which doesn't take a lot of time compared to printing a solid object. And then you can just sort of flip it upside down and fill it up with liquid resin or filler that's even less expensive than our resin, and get a solid object in a very short time. I'd like to take a moment to thank the beta testers. They've been absolutely instrumental in getting the printer to where it is now. And not just the printer itself, but the instructions and the software. They've come from all angles and all walks of life, and they've really caused all kinds of interesting improvements to the project. Looking at these prints, I think that we're reaching a pivotal point where we see that Peachy Printer is a proven technology that really is becoming everything that we all hoped it could be. That being said, since the end of the campaign, people have been asking us, where can I get a Peachy printer? Now, of course, we have to deliver to our dedicated backers before we can deliver to anyone else. But we have made a mailing list where people can sign up to be notified when the next opportunity arises to get a Peachy printer. So, with the Peachy printer starting to perform well, I think that we're going to see this list of people that want one next grow at an alarming rate. So I'd like to just mention that now and sort of encourage you to tell your friends that now's a good time to get yourself on that list, get in early, and look forward to a wonderful product coming your way. This new pivotal stage that we're at is a direct result of all the people that backed this project. And of course, we can't thank you enough for all the opportunities that you've given this team. Once we've solved the last few problems, it will become time to explore all the amazing things that you can do with a wonderful 3D printer. And that's something that we can look forward to together. So thank you again for being such an important part of this community. We'll see you next time.